É isso, porra!
Ankle pickers, welcome back to a little something we like to call Set the Spread. Something we do, I guess we've done for a long time now, 2 years of Set the Spread, where we jump on lines or we try to guess lines without knowing what they are between Danny and Reece, make a little competition of it. Speak of the Devils, I've got DK, DanKwagers, and Reece with me. What is up, boys?
What up, what up?
Back-to-back defending champ here. No big deal.
2 seasons of Set the Spread under Reece's belt. The first Set the Spread of 2023. It's the first pay-per-view week of 2023. We've got UFC 283 this weekend. That is January 21st. Rio de Janeiro is our host city, but is normal pay-per-view time slots. That's 9 p.m. Central main card, 5 p.m. Central Time prelims. Reece, I did notice that I think it's the next fight night card after this is like a super late start. Like I think it's a midnight main card.
Okay, that might be a little too late for your boy, but we make it. Where
this guy can't fucking please Reece. Can't please him.
Where is it taking place out of curiosity?
I think it's in the Apex. It's just a really late card.
They said that they were like catering to, I think, the Korean or Asian audience. But
main card, midnight Central. Derrick Lewis, Sergei Spivac, February 4th.
Okay. Let's make it happen, boys. Porra.
Porra. Act like you're excited, Reece. I mean, you've even been begging for this.
I mean, I'm begging for like a 10 o'clock start, bed by 1. I'm going to be up till 4, but we make it happen.
yeah, this is a unique time slot. We might get a fight companion, Reece and I, as we're kind of sitting at home.
That'd be awesome.
Somehow we'd have to sync up our streams, but that we should make that happen.
That'd be awesome. I'm down. I'm game for that.
We are going to do Set the Spread slightly differently in 2023 than we have in years past. We're still going to do kind of best of 5 competitions, but we're going to get out ahead of lines a little bit better than we have in the past. We're just going to roll through the fights that we deem important to set spreads for as soon as they come out, regardless of what card that they're on. And we're going to go from there. So it's possible that we, finish 1 point and have some extra fights that we still need to get through. They're just going to count to the next point eventually.
Yeah.
I'm talking it into existence. We're going to figure it out.
I was about to say, you know how when people are like, oh, let's play a board game, I'll explain the rules. It's like, nah, I'll learn as I go. So you'll figure it out pretty quickly. It's not that complicated. Basically, like some fight nights might have 4 lines, some might have 7 lines. We're going to do interesting.
And they might be out of order. They might be talked about as soon as the fights are announced, as soon as the lines are released.
Yeah, because our new goal or the purpose of this is Danny and I were leaving so much closing line value on the table, waiting for us to all have time to sit down and set the spread. So hopefully this curbs some of that by us knowing when lines go out right away or closer to right away. So
this episode is going to be a little bit of both. We have a handful of UFC 283 fights that we haven't gotten to yet. So we're still going to set the spread for those. And then we've got some absolute bangers that are recently announced that Dan and Reece are going to find out on the fly which ones I've got in the bag here. But we've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights to set the spread for. Let's get right in.
So in theory, if I sweep,
there could be 3 points on the table.
There could be 3 points on the table. Okay.
Let's jump right in. First fight comes from the main card of this weekend, UFC 283, a light heavyweight bout. It is the first fight of the main card, Johnny Walker and Paul Craig. Dan had the most recent victory in set the spread, even though he lost 2022. So he's going to lead this one off.
Okay. The other suggestion, whoever wins the most recent point goes first. So I might have to go first a couple times instead of alternating. See what I'm saying?
I think we still alternate between the 5. Until I got that part. That's my job. You set your spreads. Dan first.
Here's the thing about Paul Craig. As much respect as they're going to have for his ground game being in Brazil, he's been a dog in, I want to say, almost every fight he's been in his entire career. Definitely every fight in the last couple of years. And I don't think that's going to change here coming off of the loss. It did seem like he had kind of just magic in his grip or magic in his submissions for a while. But Volkan and even for some time, Krylov before him showed that if you just don't go down to Paul Craig's game, he's pretty lost.
Did you just suggest? Wait, sorry. Did you say Krylov?
I did. Was that the early one, or was that?
That's when we got. That's when we got boned because we ankle locked it, and Krylov went to the mat for some stupid fucking reason.
Right. That's what I was saying. For some time, Krylov until he went to the mat.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I had to interject. I thought.
No worries. First, you thought
Krylov. Okay, proceed. Sorry, I was dying.
All good. I'm. My head's in a little bit of different directions today. I've got a rivalry game over here, rivalry games over there, but
and maybe a little Mary Jane.
Maybe. But ultimately, we've got Johnny Walker in Brazil as a favorite. He just got back off the Shnai, beating Iwan Kutalaba with a submission of all things. I don't think that he goes to grapple Paul Craig, but I do think he touches him up for a couple rounds, maybe gets a finish. Let's go Johnny Walker minus 200.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I actually was saying before this aired in our pre-chat, whatever, I was saying I weirdly like Johnny Walker in this spot, like out of nowhere. Don't know the line, but Dan pretty much took the words out of my mouth. So, like, Paul Craig is weird or maybe even near impossible to bet because there's one side of Paul Craig that taps out Magomed Ankalaev, taps out Kennedy and Chukwu, who's right there and striking with Johnny Walker, but then taps out
Jamahal Hill.
Taps out Jamahal Hill, who's in the lead, and then there's a flip side, who is the main event. Then there's the flip side of Paul Craig, who loses to Alonzo Menifield, loses to Jimmy Crute, loses Cleo Roundtree, loses Tyson Pedro, all via vicious first-round knockouts. So, although it's hard to bet against Paul Craig because of what could potentially happen, he should rightfully be the dog because he most likely could just get tagged and fold because every round starts on the feet. So 290 is great, 200 is great, but because Paul Craig always has that chance, I'll go 195 for minus 195 for Johnny Walker.
We are getting chippy early with the prices writing 190 Johnny Walker.
There we go. Yeah, my line actually, full disclosure, was 200, so I had to just go under. Didn't want to leave a room for a tie.
That's a tally for RP. The next fight, also UFC 283, welterweight bout between Gilbert Dorino Burns and Neal Magny. Reece, go ahead.
Kobe, I'm in a little bit of a flux on this one because I know Danny overvalues Neal Magny. Throwback Thursday. So, look, Gilbert Burns is going to be the favorite. We're both humongo fans of Gilbert Burns. So, like, okay, surprise, surprise, but rightfully so. The question is, how high? My guess is anything over minus 300 is a little expensive. Anything under minus 200 is a little cheap. So I'm going to try to find that sweet spot there. I like Neal Magny. He's a veteran. He beat guys like Jeff Neal. He wears on guys like Prime, Anthony Martin, Prime, Leach. So he can wear down people, and he's been around the sport for, oh my gosh, I don't want to say forever, but it feels like literally forever, as he's breaking welterweight records of most wins. There's no age difference here. They're both basically the same age. They're both older, over that hump. Although Gilbert looks and performs a little bit better. I just think anything over 300 is too expensive. But if it was minus 200 or less, I'm throwing so much. So I'm going to get closer to that minus 300. I'm going to go Gilbert Burns minus 285.
I'm comfortable going over the 300. 350, Porra, Dourinho in Brazil. This is just a hand-picked matchup for him. I think that Vegas knows it too. Magny, I mean, it's not he gets exposed because, like Reece said, he got exposed a year ago, and I was a little surprised, or whatever, the Shavkat we keep drawing back to. But I've learned and I've recovered. We're going above Reece's number. We're going 350.
So full adjustment from DK DanKwagers, but we take those.
410 Dourinho.
Oh, that's insane.
Porra.
That's insane.
Porra.
That is. That's insane. Think of wait, hold on.
Dourinho's stock rose so much with losing to Hamzat, which is such a silly thing.
Wait, time out. Kobe, what did it open at?
Your number, 285.
Wow. Too much steam. I will never bet against Dourinho. I'm not a sociopath, but there's value on the Magny side there.
All right, 1-1. And the flyweight title bout, also UFC 283, Brandon Moreno and the current belt holder, Deiveson Figueiredo. Number 4. Fourth time we're going to see these guys. Dan, go for it.
Let me real quick just pull up what the line was for 3. I know that in my head we've got Deiveson up 2-1. I know in real life it's 1-1-1. That majority draw was super interesting. I still tend to think that Deiveson is just the better fighter. I'm not sure how much the public agrees with me still. I think that the Glory MMA and James Krause associations have to be distracting for Brandon Moreno, having to move gyms mid-camp. And I don't think that Vegas is ignoring that. So I'm going to go. I know I pulled up the line and I'm looking at Deiveson as a dog after losing that second one. Rightfully so. But he proved a lot to me in that unanimous decision. So I'm going with Deiveson minus 135 over Brandon Moreno.
I'll make this one short and sweet. I was going to almost voluntarily go first because it doesn't really matter. I have minus 110 each way or minus 115 each way. I think that Figueiredo probably a little better of a fighter. Brandon Moreno, probably a little bit more of a fan favorite / well-known. My guess is it's pick your favorite. My guess is especially this early, Sharps probably are on it early. My guess is it might be Figueiredo minus 120. But I'll play, I'll do minus 115, minus 105, minus 115 for Fig.
The last second, he jumps off the spot. 110 both ways.
Okay. I'm still fine with that. I had to cover myself on that side. Now, where did that one open?
Moreno actually opened as the favorite in October when this one, but it was 120, so it's only moved 10 points.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost voluntarily went first. I almost voluntarily went first and said 110 and just made Danny pick, but that's fine. Okay.
2 tallies Reece's way, 1 Danny's way, and we have a vacant light heavyweight title bout between Glover Teixeira and Jamahal Hill. Reece is going to kick this one off.
Danny and I were just not dogging Glover, but talking about how Glover has fought like he's 45 since he's been 38. But I think Jamahal Hill is going to be the favorite. And that's mainly just because of the public perception I'm getting. Everyone feels like Glover's washed. Everyone feels like Glover's too old. Everyone feels this, that, or the other. But at the end of the day, and the real truth of it all, I like Glover in this spot because Glover's jits is great. Glover's stand-up is good enough. And we're talking about a guy we were just talking. Jamahal Hill got tapped by Paul Craig. I think Jamahal Hill, this might be too much too soon. We also talked about the fact that Glover won majority of the rounds against Yair. I like Glover in this spot. I'll probably be on Glover in this spot, but I think Jamahal Hill is going to be a slight favorite from the public perception. And I think almost every time now Glover's been a dog in a title spot. So I'll go Jamahal Hill -1. $40 plus 140 plus 120 for Glover.
I agree with a lot of what you said, but I think the line might agree with you more than you think. I think that Glover's going to get some respect after the performance he had against a dangerous Yair, a guy with a lot of finishing power, in a different capacity, but still on the feet, with Jamahal Hill kind of having the same threat.
You think Jamahal Hill
closer to even?
You think Jamahal Hill's more of a? Okay. Sorry, I thought you were gonna.
I was saying that Yair's dangerous on the feet, similar to Jamahal, but it's in a different capacity.
Yeah,
it's more of a one-punch pop for Jamahal versus the.
I thought you were going to shade even higher on Jamal's side, which I would have been fine with. I more was just saying like, okay, proceed.
I was thinking closer to even.
Okay.
And ultimately, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the 110 each way.
Okay, I actually think I might have just lost this point. I thought Dan was going to go a little higher, and so I tried to go on the side that would kind of force him to go a little higher.
Danny's
I just
on
feel like
110
that
both ways.
Yeah, that Jiří Procházka performance has been his best performance since we started talking about him being 38 years old or fighting like a 45-year-old or whatever you said. It was a crazy comeback into Anthony Smith, and he dominated, beat the crap out of him in later rounds. Thiago Santos, he won that decisively in the areas that we thought he would, but it wasn't like easy from the jump. And the Jan Blachowicz fight still gives me kind of heebie-jeebies. Like I just don't even know what I watched there. So even in the loss, I think that Yair performance was his best, and I think the public might be coming around. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a favorite, honestly.
The only reason why I'm confused is because he keeps getting, like, as this experiment's been happening, it's like he just keeps getting older and older and older and older. So I feel like the narrative that people have wanted to believe has just continued to compound, because when he fought fucking Anthony Smith, that was what, 2 years ago? 2.5 years ago? I don't even know. But
Dead push, 125 Jamahal Hill, 15 points off in both directions from you guys.
nice.
I should have gone with the Reece move and covered my butt on the 115.
You should have.
You know, play the game.
Mistake.
Still 2-1. Still 2-1. We're going in order of fights here, and still a handful to get through. So UFC 284, that's February 12th from Perth, Australia. A lightweight title fight between Alexander Volkanovski, the current featherweight champ, and Islam Makhachev, your current lightweight belt holder. What is it? Dan's turn to lead this one off? Yeah, Dan, go for it.
This is awesome because it might be, although not officially, but in my head, pound for pound, number 1 and number 2 facing off. The anointment of Islam, I think, was a little bit overdue, just being that no one would accept fights with him. But man, did he show that he is that fucking good. I'd be surprised if he's not a favorite here, given the size advantage and given that he showed he's very capable everywhere. But people would be extremely wrong to overlook Volkanovski and overlook really the game planning of City Kickboxing and Eugene Behrman and the evil genius that they call him. I do think Volk's going to be ready for this. I do think that Volk is going to be ready to grapple. I don't think he'll be lost there. I have to have Islam as a favorite. Islam will be When did this line come out, Kobe?
Good point. It came out pretty much right after the Islam Oliveira fight, so October.
Lots of movement time. I'm going to go with Islam minus 165. And the Red Wings just got scored on again.
Here's what's weird. Alexander Volkanovski is the better all-around fighter. Like Dan was talking about pound for pound one, pound for pound two. I think Volkanovski is the pound for pound one. The problem is Islam is more dominant than at one aspect than Volk is at anything. And so it's kind of like saying, like, Islam's wrestling to me is like Ciryl Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook. It's kind of indefensible, and I've yet to see anyone even get close to defending it. I mean, Arman did his best. Arman's much better than Volk, and he still failed. And so the way I look at this is there's a there's a high chance that Islam gets us to the mat and does what Islam does. And that's just, it almost feels unavoidable. And you want to know the worst part? I still think Volk is the better all-around fighter, even with that outcome. But when you look at just one discipline and one aspect, Islam's just too dangerous to really everybody. So for that, I think that Volk has a chance if this stays standing, but the odds of that are slim. I'm going to go Islam minus 250, Volk plus 200. It's the one aspect that's just too dominant, even though, like, his stand-up is so bad. I mean, remarkably bad. One of the worst.
It's a wide range we've got in between.
It just doesn't matter because the one aspect that he does have is just so fucking good.
Can I tell you that neither of you are particularly close?
Is Volk the favorite? Kobe's got
Where is it huge?
Minus 315 Islam after opening minus 400. You can get 260 the other way. And if you want a line shop,
so it is coming back down at the very least, but wow.
That hurts my heart. I'll have a big bet on Volk.
280 Volk
I won't have
Caesars is the best you can get right now.
I won't have a big bet, and the reason why is exactly what the problem is I have yet to see anyone show any resistance on it. And, like, remember Volk had troubles against Chad Mendes. Like, Chad Mendes got him down. Chad Mendes, and it was a long time ago. But if Chad Mendes can get him down, Islam should smother this mug. But for the same reason Paul Craig's a dog, every round starts standing. Sorry for the cough. I literally just swallowed my spit wrong.
But just like you said earlier, we're getting the best fighter in the world at 3-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, that part alone.
All right. First point of 2023 goes to Reece. Can I get a mid-ep Poha, Reece?
Yuri Pohashka.
I'm
All
glad
right.
you went with that one because, like, a Gilbert Burns Poha wouldn't have been right after you lost the Gilbert Burns Poha.
That was the plan. That was the problem. I couldn't do just a raw Poha. I had to do some form of Pohashka.
All right. 4 more fights that we're rolling through here.
Alexander Pohanovsky.
All right. Let's jump a month ahead to UFC 285 from Las Vegas, Nevada. We have a welterweight bout between Shavkat, Rahkmanov, and Geoff Neal. Reece, go for it.
So Dan has luckily proven that he has, in fact, come around. And so he knows.
Shavkat versus Geoff or versus Neal's.
Versus Neal's. Yeah, versus Neal's. Look, I actually like Geoff Neal a lot. Like, he's a guy who brought it to Vicente Luque in a way we really haven't seen before. But we still have a guy that lost to Neal Magny purely because of being hung on, being dragged down, being smothered. So Shavkat's got to be a big favorite. I think Shavkat arguably is right there in the likes of Hamzat, Arman, Ilya, as far as
I mean, if you
prospects
listen
go.
to our futures episode, we both said that he was a shout of a guy that we said could hold gold. at the end
Yeah,
of the year.
so I don't know if they really can make this high enough because of how threatening Geoff can be. So where would I feel comfortable putting Shavkat in a parlay? Probably all the way up to like the high minus 300s, maybe minus 400. So I'll go minus 385 for Shavkat. And that's that's coming from a guy who likes Geoff Neal. Think about that.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what I'm going to say, is that I don't think the public has the same respect for Geoff Neal that you do. I'm going with the exact same line against the Neal Magny. Give me minus 490.
That's what he was against Neal Magny.
That's what it's saying on Tapology.
Holy shit.
I'm doing math here. It's going to take me a second. 435 is the number. Hasn't moved since open.
That's so big.
15, 35,
That should
50
be
off.
That's Reese's.
It's
That's
Reece by
Reese's.
5. Danny gets screwed by not playing the game once again.
I respect it, though.
My strategy was on.
I respect it, though. Because the name of the game is to try to price is right, but it's also to tell what you think the line should be. So I respect you for sticking to what you think it is, not what you should narrate it to.
He doesn't respect it enough to play the game that way himself, but he'll give you props when he gets the point out of it, Dan.
Correct. What country club?
I had to refine my strategy.
Same night from Las Vegas, Nevada, just announced this weekend. We have a heavyweight title on the line between the return of Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane after Francis Ngannou was released. So we'll get to we'll get to the news of that aspect in news and notes. For now, let's set the spread. Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane, and Dan will lead this one off.
It's a tough one. The Jon Jones layoff has been extremely long, but he's still probably the most skilled fighter to ever fight, period, in the octagon. And Ciryl Gane is great. He's a guy that you can go as far back as a set the spread where I think it was him versus, I'm pulling up his record. I think it was the Dontel Mays or maybe Junior Dos Santos. No, it's probably one of the canceled bouts that I'm looking at. But the idea was that he shouldn't be that big of a favorite unless he's literally Superman, and he proved to be literally Superman, at least when it came to the kickboxing. And he's a length that Jon Jones has never fought, which will be interesting. But ultimately, I have to go with Jon Jones as a favorite. It's not going to be big. He's not got the same respect amongst modern day bettors that he did even 3 years ago. But he's still Jon Jones. Jon Jones minus 135.
I, too, agree with everything Danny said because Jon Jones is Jon Jones. Jon Jones needs to be a favorite because he is Jon Jones. Just like Conor has been a favorite when he makes his return fights. It's just because of who they are and what they've proven to be. Here's where this gets dicey, because my first instinct is Jon Jones minus 185. The problem is
Hand off the piece. Lock that in, Kobe. Lock that in.
Hey, Dan, I might get that far. Hold on. 185 because he arguably lost to Dominic Reyes. He arguably lost to Thiago Santos. He continued to get in trouble. And so I think that if you were investing in him like a stock, he's low, right? Like that's why Danny's 135 isn't just like insulting, because it's reasonable for where the times are. However, I watched Francis Ngannou shoot for a takedown and secure it. Think about that. I watched that happen. Sorry. Michigan State just fucking blew it. Okay. I watched John Jones.
We're both watching shitty Detroit sports.
Right. I watched Francis Ngannou shoot for a takedown and secure it. So if Francis Ngannou with no knees can do that, I am 100% sure John Jones can do it. So the return of John, heavyweight John, hopefully revitalized John, hopefully dedicated John. There's definitely a lot of question marks, but I'll go over Danny. John Jones minus 150.
Wait till y'all hear the line movement in this one. So it really was just announced Saturday. We're here recording Monday.
Right.
Opened minus 200 John Jones.
Yeah.
Shot all the way to Ciryl Gane minus 180.
That's bad.
And it's come back to 110 both ways.
What the fuck? Wait. Oh yeah. So Dan gets the point for first.
Dan's taking the point. It's 110 both ways.
What's
right?
annoying about that is like, if we recorded like right when it got announced, I take the point. Or if we record probably in like a month or two from now, I take the point. But Danny's in the sweet spot where he still gets all that early line movement. Nice job, Dan.
A lot more to come on that one. We'll get into news and notes and start talking about how we got here and everything that's goes with the fight, even just being announced. So more to come.
How much line movement is there going to be after he stepped on the scale is the real question.
He's gonna clock in every bit of 250.
He's looking big these days.
Yeah, he's huge.
I don't know if that's
all right,
advantageous for him.
Two more. UFC 286 still in March 17th from London. We have a lightweight bout between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev just announced also this weekend. Reece is going to go for it this one. 1-1 in tally so far in whatever game 2.
Gaethje minus 185. And it's simple. Gaethje's got the name value. But the reason why it's under that 200 threshold is because stylistically, this is a great fight for Fiziev. I mean, what you don't want as a Fiziev backer is somebody who is super lanky and will stay at range, or someone who will smother you on the mat. That's what you don't want. What you get with Justin Gaethje is someone who will stand in the phone booth, but he does have bombs in his own right. I'm going to go Gaethje minus 185, and I'm actually pretty comfortable with that line. I feel like I might ding it.
I'm going closer to even. Fiziev's part of this group that people talk about that is changing of the guard.
Not
the Poiriers, the Gaethjes, the Chandlers are exiting. And the Islams, the Sarukians, and the Fizievs are entering. That clip of Tony Ferguson landing that clean uppercut at the end of round 3 that had Gaethje on skates. I see that on Twitter every day. People are on Fiziev here.
No way. I don't disagree with you. I like
Justin Gaethje minus 125.
Again, not playing the game. Minus 125 Fiziev is your favorite.
Oh, I thought I dinged it, but I get the point. All right. I was, you said 125, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my face light up. I got so fucking excited in that moment.
So,
that he
hold
said
on.
125.
Another one that just opened the line on Saturday, the 14th, it's 16th, at Gaethje minus 275.
Yeah. Wow.
Ooh, I wish I had gotten some money on Fiziev.
Wow. That is
Ooh,
insane.
I wish like 230 on Fiziev, 220.
All
would
that
have
movement's been on Bovada, by the way. That Bovada opened first.
Mm.
All right, 2 tallies to 1. Dan has the lead and will lead off the last fight that we're going to go through today.
I know what we're doing too. 286 main event.
286.
Gotta
main
be,
event.
right?
Welterweight title on the line. Your champ, Leon Edwards,
The line. Oh no.
versus Kamaru Usman.
Oh, this got announced officially?
Officially announced.
I missed
286
that
main
memo.
event.
Sweet. Okay. Cool.
Dan.
So
all you.
before we start, Reece, I'll let you know that Usman Edwards 2, what many people who are listening might think is Usman Edwards 1, but the Usman Edwards fight from last year closed at minus 375 Kamaru Usman.
Okay.
And everyone knows how that went. It was pretty dominant on one side for 23 minutes, but moment of the year, comeback of the year, knockout of the year, boom, headshot KO. Leon Edwards put his name on the map. Is that enough to make him the favorite? Not for me. I still think Kamaru Usman goes into the trilogy fight as a.
I guess I should say this line opened and has been sitting available since that fight ended. It was August 21st, which was August 20th was the day of Usman Edwards 2.
But that fight is officially announced, confirmed. This
Yep,
is not
it's officially announced.
Okay.
I have to have Usman as the favorite. Stylistically, he's got Leon pretty much everywhere unless that kind of moment happens. Those boom headshot, you're dead. Got to imagine Kamaru's chomping at the bit to get back. It won't be as high nearly as the first one. But I think there'd be heavy money coming in on Kamaru if it's below 250.
Ooh.
We got a reaction there.
Well, because
Maybe I should stop.
based on where you were leading, I automatically was just going to be like over. That was my plan, just to say over whatever you said.
Well,
But
it started
now-
at like 370 something. Like it was, or what did I say it closed at? Yeah, 375. It can't be up there, but it can't be one something. It just can't be. I'd be betting it money line, no problem at 220, 230, 240. So I think I am going to come down at that 250 number. Ultimately, it seems like, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's over. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 190. I feel like there's a lot of takes, a lot of reactions to that beautiful, beautiful left high kick.
250 is the number?
That's the number. Hand off the piece.
245. Porra!
Context you want to add, or you just want to go with 245?
I was going to say over no matter what. And then as Danny was explaining, the line that stuck with me was there's going to be a lot of love for that left high kick. And like, although it was lucky, the more I think about it, the more I see people jumping on that Leon bandwagon. Because before that fight, Leon had that eye poke against Bilal. He got dogged a lot for inactivity. He got dogged a lot for the way he selected his opponents. But that high kick now pivoted to him being this very likable underdog. He's going to be the dog, but I think it's going to be.
You're thinking the social media cappers, they're seeing that high kick float around. They're not seeing 20 minutes of wrestling float around.
Correct.
250 on the dot.
Oh, you're kidding. You did that for like a gift, right?
After opening at 350 back in August.
So hot.
It opened at 350.
Yep.
All right. Well, I had no chance, so that makes me feel good.
On a handful of different books, it's anywhere from 250 to 280 Usman.
Oh,
So that's exactly tied up 1-1 through one Set the Spread episode of 2023.
I gotta love that. I mean,
Well, I was just thinking,
if you've watched any other season, this had to be what you were expecting. Like, this is, if we were to line Set the Spread, 3-way Asian handicap, whatever you want to call it, the draw would be the favorite almost every time.
Yeah, it's been neck and neck pretty much every season down to the wire. So we take these.
All right. That's all we got. Dan, you're going to close us up with the Poha with the most recent point on the board.
Iso vos Porra.
And we don't have an audio for it, but we got to have some sort of audio insert because I got a surprise Set the Spread come up for you guys right now.
É isso, porra!
We had spreads announced for February 4th. So I've got 2 fights on that card. The co-main and the main event for our next event after UFC 283. Dan is coming off the most recent win. He's going to lead things off in the first fight. Light heavyweight bout, Jung and Devin Clark.
Oh, wow. That's super random.
It's a co-main. It's a weak card, but we're going to go co-main and main on it.
I mean, Devin Clark has just been on a downward spiral as I pull up his Tapology. I guess he does have that William Knight win, but it's William Knight. That guy should not be fighting at light heavieweight.
Pennyfield's a decent win.
Yeah, I mean that's back in 2020. We had a lot different opinions of Devin Clark going into the Anthony Smith fight than leaving it, at least for me. I've got to expect Jung to be a favorite here. Although he's coming off of that bad Dustin Jacoby loss, Devin Clark's just been, like I said, on that downward spiral and hasn't beat a regular sized light heavyweight in 3 years. So let's go Jung minus 165. Man, I'm not confident there. I don't know if you can read that.
I'm gonna
in my
go.
voice, but
This could go either way, dude. Because I'm gonna go under you, and the main reason is because Jung has not proven to be able to defend the takedown. He has not proven to be able to utilize his gas tank. Hashtag the Sam Alvey fight. So I'll go under you. I'll go Jung minus 145. I'll give you room. But I also, on the flip side, could see this being way higher than 165. I just am more comfortable shading under on either of these guys. They're not necessarily, either of them are world beaters. So I'll go Jung minus 145.
250 open today. That's where it sits. Jung.
there's some value on that Brown.
Yeah,
pick.
there is. There's a lot. Nice point, Dan. There's a lot of value actually on that one, in my opinion.
Well, you'll have an opportunity.
I must be missing
it.
something about that.
Let's go to the main event, heavyweight bout, Derrick Lewis and Sergei Spivac, Reece.
This is interesting because
How much has it moved since we broke this one down for the Lewis Spivac main event that got canceled Fight Night?
oh geez, I don't even remember that.
Ooh, I forgot that one too. Would y'all rather do it or skip it?
I've got a decent idea of what I think it is.
I don't even remember that we even did this one before, but I would defer to Dan. Maybe we guess it, but we don't count it.
Sure.
Spivac was getting up there like minus 200, minus
That's I actually
25.
I was about to guess that. I literally was going to say Spivac minus 200.
205 is Spivac right now. All right. Good news is I have a few more that we can roll through right now because fights just got announced yesterday that we haven't even talked on. Let's go first to a welterweight bout. This is going to be the co-main. It's on the main card of UFC 284. my boy Jack Della Maddalena and Randy Brown. And by the way, boys, this one got announced yesterday. So Wednesday the 18th? I'm just doing this so you guys can jump on this number. Well, all right. Well, I don't want to spoil a whole lot.
You already did.
I mean, we know Jack Della Maddalena, JDM is going to be a significant.
I was gonna say 340. I'm guessing because of Kobe's reaction and our ability to jump on it. I'm gonna say Della Maddalena minus 240.
Oh, I perceived his comment as that it's already moving. So I'll take your 340.
240, 340?
Yeah.
300.
Porra.
1 day in movement. DK.
What did it open at?
200.
Okay, so we got to jump on this. Let's we're gonna open up my Bet MMA tips right now.
I wonder how much higher it's gonna get though.
I can go 3-1 on Jack Della Maddalena comfortably.
It's already really not
Yeah.
that comfortable.
The 3-unit bet, no matter what.
Interim featherweight title also on the line at UFC 284. This is the co-main. Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett. Dan, lead this one off.
That is incredibly fun. Yair, dynamic. Emmett's been incredibly profitable, but I don't know how confident you've been as a backer of him in any of those fights before the hands have been raised. I have to imagine Yair's going to be the favorite. He's coming off that Ortega shoulder injury, which didn't really get to show exactly who he was, but even in that loss to Holloway, he looked really impressive. And like I said, Emmett's kind of been, with this streak he's been on, he's not doing anything. He's not shutting up the doubters, is all I'm trying to say. And I think that people are still doubting. I think Yair's going to be the favorite. It's not going to be huge. Yair minus 155.
Yeah, you're right on it. I'm going to go a little higher. My line coming in when Kobe announced it, like the second he said it, in my head, I just go Yair minus 165. So I'll stick firm with that. I think that Yair is the better striker. I think that that's the only place this fight can take place. And I think that Yair is elusive enough and talented enough to stay away from Emmett's bombs. Emmett lost 3 rounds or 2.9 rounds against Michael Johnson. And Yair had a good performance, a better performance than Cater against Holloway. The striking parallels are different here. So I'll hedge on the over on that one. I'll go 165 Yair.
141 Yair.
I'm probably going to actually take Yair after this at 140.
Is that a point, Porra?
Point Porra DK.
But I'm comfortable with Yair at 140. Like if you're listening to this now, I'm without even taping, I'm comfortable at Yair minus 140. I like that a lot, actually. I'm willing to bet come fight night. I'm willing to bet come fight night. Yair gets shades into the 180s. I would bet it.
We're getting this one at open. It's another title fight just announced today. Women's flyweight Valentina Shevchenko against Alexa Grasso. This one will be the first point available to the next game. Danny takes a 2-1 lead.
Valentina's not going to be a dog. We know that. So it's while I pull that up, let's start thinking about how high we're going to go with this. Because although Bullet looked beatable against Taila Santos, Alexa Grasso's is not Taila Santos. I do think that we'll see maybe it not be as high as the Taila line. So I'll go opening Valentina minus 500.
Since it just opened, and I know there's going to be a ton of steam on it, I'm going to go under Dan. I'm going to say Valentina minus 485. She's looked beatable against Santos. / she probably got beat. She looked beatable against Jennifer Maia. However, I do think there's one girl.
She looked beatable for like 2.5 minutes against Jennifer Maia. The rest of that fight was not close.
Try 2.5 rounds. Dude, I got Valentina Shevchenko minus 120 live. Think about that. But the big takeaway for me is there's two girls I believe have the skill set. I mean, obviously Talia Santos, but I think the one who really dethrones Valentina is Tatiana Suarez. So that's coming for her. I think that this is going to be not an easy victory, another victory for Valentina. I just think that Dan's pre-steam, the steam is yet to come.
So I don't even know if I mentioned it, but this is UFC 285 in March. It's going to be the co-main on the John Jones Ciryl Gane fight in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And ding, 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 500 Valentina Shevchenko.
Come on. I'm on one right now.
Fucking garbage.
Oh, wow.
Also, this is...
Shall we transition to set the spread?
É isso, porra!
Sound effect for it. We mentioned two of them. We do have some fights to announce that do have lines, which is the best kind of fights to announce. Dan is up 2-1 in set spread points so far in 2023 and has a 1-0 lead in our active game. So he'll take that into the first fight that we'll set the spread for. Light heavyweight bout, 5-round main events in the Apex on February 25th. Nikita Krylov and Ryan Spann. Dan, go for it.
Wow, both of these guys are guys I've really struggled to read in the past.
Stop you real quick. This line's been posted for a month. We're behind on this one, but I wanted to get the main event out there.
Ryan Superman Spann, out at Fortis MMA, Texas guy, is coming off probably the biggest highlight of his career, maybe. I'm trying to look through his record here, but yeah, huge power jab knockout. I mean, Instagram reel kind of knockout over Dominic Reyes. On that 281 out of Sonia Pereira card. It's a lot of eyes. I got to expect he's going to come into this one as a favorite versus Volkan, also coming off a victory on a pay-per-view, but the decision Krylov coming off the win over Volkan, also on a pay-per-view. Ultimately, he might be the more skilled fighter, but I don't think that that's going to factor into the line too much. I think people are looking a lot at the athleticism that Spann brings to the table. I think they're looking a lot at his KO power. I think they're looking a lot at, Krylov has a propensity to be finished, but it's usually submissions, as we mentioned with the Paul Craig incident. So I don't know if Ryan Spann's going to submit him. I definitely have a 1 in front of it. I'm not super confident here, but I have Ryan Spann as a favorite. Give me 140 flat, minus 140.
Yeah, I got Krylov as a favorite. I have 140 flat, 135, but I'll just call it 140. So if it's a dead split, that's cool. I got 140 Krylov. I think that you're right in the aspect that this is a high point for Spann, a relatively low point for Krylov. Spann has all these questions about, holy shit, he's a freak athlete. He's taking training seriously. What are we in store for? But at the end of the day, I watched Ryan Spann get a barely edge a split decision over Sam Alvey. I watched Ryan Spann get just absolutely dismantled by Anthony Smith. I've never been a big buyer on Ryan Spann. And I think that when you look at Krylov's resume, you have a guy who's fought, even though he's fallen to, but has fought Jan Blachowicz, has fought Glover Teixeira, has fought Magomed Ankalaev. I mean, we're talking about guys who, a split decision to Glover, no less. It shows you the caliber of person that Krylov can fight. Finished Gustafsson recently, beat Ozdemir. I mean, all those guys I just named, in my opinion, hold more weight than Ryan Spann. I look Krylov minus 140. I think that if this was before what Danny highlighted, the Ryan Spann freak highlight reel knockout that everyone watched,
I think you got Krylov up in the 180s, maybe even creeping towards the 200s. I just think that this definitely is a high point for Ryan Spann. Line makers will account for that, but with this line being open for a month, I would be shocked if sharps push that span even farther, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but from someone who follows the sport, obviously as close as we do, I think I'd lean the Krylov side to begin with. I imagine other sharps will agree.
155 Krylov.
Yep.
And has been 160 at open.
Okay, so it went a little bit towards Spann, but I'm actually probably going to lay off there. I know that we have a lot of time. When is this fight? 4?
No, it's in just a little under a month, February 25th.
Okay. Yeah, I think Danny, maybe the line does move closer towards Spann. I just think in early action, I imagine we go to Krylov. Krylov definitely has a better resume.
UFC 285. That's going to be the Vegas John Jones Ciryl Gane card, and we have a prelim main event at middleweight: Dricus du Plessis and Derek Brunson. Reece will lead it off.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, that is a really tough one.
Where do you put Dricus at this point in his career?
Dude, I have no idea. And I've never been a big buyer on du Plessis either, to be honest with you. I think that the Till fight was underwhelming. I think the Brad Tavares fight was underwhelming. I think the Trevin Giles fight, the Marcus Perez fights are the definition of gimmies. So when I look at du Plessis, I see what he has to offer. I see the wrestling he utilized against Till. I see the striking power that he has, that he's utilized, that he's shown. I see it. I get it. He's also a freak athlete, but I think he's more raw with his abilities than a lot of people realize. He's primarily a kickboxer. He's someone who wants to stand and bang. Brunson is going to be a significantly better wrestler. Brunson is the guy who has been a perennial, I don't want to say title contender, but ranked 85er. It's just tough because you have a rising du Plessis who is undefeated in the UFC. Yeah, undefeated in the UFC. And he's 29 versus a guy who's kind of been 1 foot in, 1 foot out, just unretired and is 39. So this is tough. But since Brunson perennially seems to be the underdog, he was a big underdog against Shabazian, an underdog against Kevin Holland, an underdog against Darren Till, an underdog against Jared Cannonier. I'm going to stick with that. I think the public really likes du Plessis. I'm going to go Dricus du Plessis minus 155, Derek Brunson plus 135.
Wow. I really don't have a ton to add. I come from more of the respect Derek Brunson camp, I guess. I've got Derek Brunson as a favorite here. I agree with you. Like,
yeah, this is less about what I think. This is less about what I think and more about what I think the public thinks. You know what I mean? Because I love Derek Brunson too. I know you like Derek Brunson, but does everyone like Derek Brunson, or are we on an island?
My big question, and might be the only question for me, is the durability. And I'm not ready to say that the delivery method of Dricus is so accurate or so precise, a la Cannonier or someone else that can put Brunson's lights out, like Adesanya. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. I've got Brunson here. I'm a little spooked by you. I'm going to go slight favorite, minus 115, or that's even, minus 120. You know, I'll go even. Play the game a little bit. 115 each way, Kobe. Bring that point home.
That actually is not that bad of a line. I'm not gonna lie. Even could be. I mean, both of our instant reaction was, how do you set this? That screams 115 to me.
185 du Plessis.
Oh.
No movement yet. This opened on the 27th.
I
so
don't like the 8
ago.
in front of that.
Oh, wow.
There's like a 165 comeback on Derek Brunson.
Oh,
60, but yeah. That's available.
I might sprinkle that
right now.
pretty soon. That might see my track pays for a sprinkle.
Is that a point, Kobe, or do I still need one more?
2-1. You need one.
2-1?
You're up 2-1.
Where'd the one come from? Phantom Danny point? Some
Whatever
cheese.
the last one that we had last week.
I know. I'm messing with you, Rigger.
No, but now you put me under fire, and now I got to go check.
No, I'm not putting you under fire. I'm just saying
one.
Country Club is definitely known.
I ding my last one. That was like a performance for the season.
Valentina.
He's been known. You're right, but he has been known for phantom points. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Says the only guy that's won both.
Both seasons.
Yeah.
UFC 287, co-main welterweight bout between Gilbert Dorino Burns and Jorge Masvidal. Dan will lead this off, trailing 2-1 here.
George of the Jungle. Wow, Journeyman George. How big am I going to go? This is a tough one for me to start with because it's my favorite fighter versus like a guy that I've lost so much money fading. Recently come around because of the Kamaru fights in Colby, but that stretch in the middle of the Till Asker and Nate Diaz was not kind to Danny. I am obviously going to have Gilbert as a favorite. He's coming on a win streak. I just mentioned you got George coming off 3 straight losses, albeit to 3 really tough competitors, but Gilbert is right in that conversation and he belongs there. I'm looking at that Colby line right now. I'm seeing the comeback was plus 250 on George. Let's see what Colby was. I'm stealing this line, by the way, whatever it is. Colby minus 320 or Gilbert minus 320.
A darn good line. Yeah, okay, this is an ultimate buy low on George Masvidal. Lost 3 in a row, none of them particularly close. And then you have the ultimate buy high on Gilbert Burns because he just dismantled Neal Magny. He was in one of the best fights, close war with Hamzat, who was deemed untouchable. Getting a lot of love, Gilbert is these days. George, not so much. They're both up there in age, 38, 36. Colby line is a very good barometer. Dan, you said what, 330 it was?
320 was the Colby line.
320. Kamaru was minus 350 and minus 260. So people are getting on to George. I kind of want to steal the Colby line too. So the question is the modern day Gilbert Burns line, George Masvidal, higher or lower than the Colby line?
I feel like this will say a lot about MMA fans as a whole, like, and what their opinions are on their buy and sell of Colby versus Gilbert.
This is very, very hard, actually. So you locked in 320?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my first reaction is to be at like 320. I mean, the Colby line is exactly where I want to set it. There's no way you don't have this ding ding. Wow, where do I go from here, bruh?
2 directions.
Can we just call this one a wash and do a different one? I'm on 320.
Sounds like I got the point.
I'll do 321. No, I'll do 330. 330. Wait, you're at 320?
Yeah, I'm at 320.
Yeah,
321 is effectively the same.
The only problem though is at 330, Kamaru was 350. Kamaru beat George. Fuck it, 310.
We're going to lock that one in?
I think I have to. It can't be higher than Colby and Kamaru. So I'll go 310. Right. But it is 320. I already know it's 320.
Danny's on 320, Reece on 310. It doesn't start with a 3.
Oh, I win. Let's go!
It doesn't start with a 2.
Oh!
No, we need to
start with a 4. 5
no way it's
Gilbert Burns.
That's a bad line.
You get Jorge 400 coming back the other way.
Let me guess. Jorge by knockout is like plus 401.
Wait. You're telling me, I just want to make sure this is clear.
By the way, opened at 600 Burns.
What the hell?
Dude, Kamaru's highest close was 350. Colby's was 320, and they have Gilbert at 600,
I think this
500.
says more about the state of gambling on UFC than it does like any referendum on any individual.
Like, what do you mean?
I just think they're juicing up favorites right now. Like,
Well, is the spread difference?
No, I just think that they're weighting favorites. They don't want people throwing them in parlays. I mean, we saw UFC 283. Do we have 3 fights with a 1 in front of them?
Yeah, we got one coming up this week. Tatsuro Taira.
But 500?
It was 6. It's been bet down.
I mean, oh my gosh.
We've got a panel of 3 of the biggest Gilbert Burns fans in the world here, and no one thinks that this line is appropriate.
I mean, maybe like what Kobe's saying is that we're just not looking at the true odds, but I don't know. That's crazy. Yet, Dan, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not rushing to bet Gilbert Jorge either.
I might.
I might too.
2 tallies to 2 tallies. The 4th point of 2023 on the line on the middleweight title rematch between your champ, Alex Pereira, and former champ, Israel Adesanya. And Reece is going to lead this one off.
Dude, I'm rattled. I actually had 330 locked in, and then Dan's whole, like, I'm going to use the Colby line. I was like, there's no way it's higher than that. I mean, are they basically saying that they have Burns as a big, like a favorite against Colby? I guess.
They're basically saying Jorge's a part-time MMA fighter since he started his, like, whatever, game bred championship. And maybe he's not training. Maybe they know something we don't know.
Okay. Izzy's going to be the favorite. I think that everyone saw what everyone else saw. Izzy was up 4-0 or 3-1 and got caught. It happens. People are calling early stoppage. I feel very comfortable saying 185 for some reason. 165 also seems appropriate. Like that range right there, 65 to 85. I mean, people are really getting on the Poatan bandwagon because he's humongous. He was just in the news sizing up Jamahal Hill. He obviously has turned Izzy's lights off twice now. He's a scary man. But I think that everyone deep down knows that barring that 5th round comeback, Izzy was going to defend. And you see it with just even the way when Amanda Nunes held her belt against Juliana Pena, like when she was going to get it back, Nunes was the favorite. I mean, it's one of those things. So I'll go 85, Dan. If you want to go into the 200s, all power to you. I think 85 feels pretty good. The first MMA
matchup closed at 225. So that's my ceiling. Can't be over that. We know that.
Right.
I'm coming down. 85 is a great number, I gotta say. It does feel like I'd be betting Izzy at 65.
Right.
But
See, 65 is the other
90. I'll go 75. I think I still might bet Izzy there, but I'm an Izzy fan. So I think that I found the right spot.
Ew. No one's actually an Izzy fan.
155 Israel.
Fucking cocksuck motherfucker. I literally choke it away every fucking motherfucking time.
Dan's point, 3-1 lead in 2023.
You might need to edit some of those because I scream those and people are going to be like, hurt their eardrums while they're listening. Oh my God. So I have 2 questions for you, sir.
Yep.
First question is, when did it open?
3 days ago at 55. No movement yet.
Where is it available is my second question.
DraftKings.
Okay.
Let's see. You want to go line shopping with me real quick?
I just think I'm probably going to be. I don't want to see any lines just in case, but I think I'm going to.
There are no lines posted that we currently are waiting to set the spread for.
Am I delusional for liking Izzy there? And that's from a guy who hates Izzy.
I don't know what Unibet is, but you can get Izzy down to minus 141 there.
Whoa. That's a low one.
I wonder if that tells you that it's going to be trending in that direction.
Izzy's winning this fight.
Right.
Free money.
Right.
So at Bet Online, it looks like it opened at minus 145, and it's up to 55. DraftKings opened at minus 155.
Interesting.
Okay. I think I don't want to give anyone a certain advice, but I do think 55 is a line that I think you could get behind. That line doesn't bother me. 55 for a guy who was up, what, 3-1 was it? Or was it 4-0? 3-1?
I had a 3-1. Yeah.
But competitive rounds the whole way, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Poaton's a
all the
freak.
power in the world. I mean, that's what's keeping him honest.
Yeah.
Desculpa, Poatan, Israel Adesanya vai ganhar.
Is that
Yes.
Portuguesa?
I'm going to start taking Portuguese.
See,
I'm going to start taking Portuguese on Babbel, and then I'll see if Gilbert Burns will do an interview with us.
sim, irmão. Yes,
All
brother.
right, Dan, GG's.
Close us up, Dan. We'll be back. I guess before we close up, we'll be back not so long from now, sometime later this week. With
Wednesday or
preview
Thursday?
for the real late Saturday night card in the Apex, Derrick Lewis and who's he fighting? Spivac?
Yeah. We'll figure out scheduling this right when we get off air, and then, yeah.
Dan, close us up.
Porra.